The master Hayao Miyazaki is back, perhaps for the last time. We don't know. We thought that the last time was the last time, but now he's here again with the exquisitely beautiful The Boy and the Heron. If you're not subscribed yet, we'd love to have you join us because we are in award season. I can very easily imagine that The Boy and the Heron will be in the mix for a lot of different critics groups and perhaps the Oscars. So check it out. Alonso, what is this film about?
So that is the question. We were on the radio this week, and I said trying to describe a Miyazaki movie plot-wise is often like trying to explain what happened to you in a dream. But this is set during World War II. A young boy named Mahito is at the beginning of the film. We see this devastating hospital fire that takes the life of his beloved mother, and then about a year later, his father is remarrying. They move to the country. Is he remarrying the mother's sister? Am I getting that right?
I thought that is what it sounded like because you hear references to like big sister later on in the film.
They have the same great uncle. So okay, yeah. So all right. So the father is marrying his late wife's sister who is carrying his child, and they move out to the country where there's a factory for him to run and where her family lives. Almost as soon as they arrive, this heron shows up and hangs out and is constantly in the boy's line of sight. And then one day starts talking to him about his dead mother. And then things happen, and I didn't want to get into it because you should just discover it on your own. But this is very much a Miyazaki film that touches upon themes that we've seen in his work. It's about a young person going on a journey of discovery, much like Spirited Away, for example. There are animals who are both familiar and kind of grotesquely strange, as in Princess Mononoke. It is visually stunning, as you would expect from a Miyazaki film. I mean, just the hand-drawn quality and the richness of, you know, that's what you want to watch people eat in these movies. You want to watch them just ride a bike through the countryside. There's just so much to take in. It is haunting and gorgeous. I will say, story-wise, particularly if you're like planning to take kids to this, it's a little tough to parse at times. But if you go with it, as with all of his films, you will be rewarded amply, I think. It is just a beautiful masterpiece from our greatest living animator, who should never be believed when he says he's going to retire.
He's what? He's 82 years old, Miyazaki, right?
I think so, yeah.
Still doing incredible work like this, like painstakingly detailed, beautiful work. And as you say, going back to some themes and some ideas that we've seen throughout his filmography, but then this feels like bold and alive and gorgeous and terrifying all over again. There's serious nightmare fuel here, you guys, involving frogs and little fishies who seem sweet at first, but perhaps are not. And then the way that the heron evolves, each time you see the heron, like he looks a little bit different each time in ways that are wondrous and grotesque. And so if you are taking little kids, this might be one of the scarier Miyazaki films, like one of the weirder, scarier ones. Like Howl's Moving Castle is pretty weird too.
Yeah, this isn't Ponyo. You know? Like this has some stuff that little younger ones might find a tad off-putting. But you know what? I'm also a believer in scaring children young. It toughens them up for art, you know.
And then there is cute, adorable stuff too, like minion-esque stuff later on that is like the kind of gentle thing that you see in Japanese animation so frequently. So yeah, this is, I understand, a semi-autobiographical story for him. And I think in any form, the idea of being able to go back and save your mom, or go back and talk to your mom in some form is so, I hate to say appealing, but like it's sort of irresistible.
It's
deeply
a universal
emotional
desire, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And then the way that he expresses that through this boy's journey, you know, and he's at an age, he's probably like 14, you know, so he's at an age where like he's not quite a boy anymore, but not quite a man yet, and so he's you know, he's awkward in his own skin and gone through some traumatic stuff. The fire in the beginning of this film is just harrowing. Like the texture and like the flow of the animation, like you can feel the heat in the colors. Like as he's running through it, there's like orange and red going past him, and like abstract swirls. You can feel the heat emanating from them, and it's just such a pleasure to see. Like after all these years, he still got his fastball,
It's such a young person's POV of chaos where there's just more than he can take in. And like you're, as an audience member, sort of parsing out these images and what's really there and how is he just sort of interpreting it in that way. Yeah, this movie is loaded with incredible segments like that. And interestingly, because we also this week talked about Godzilla -1, there is this sense of what World War II did to Japan as a whole, as a people, and how they coped with it during and after. And there are hints of that here as well. It's always sort of in the corner because this is a kid's point of view, and so he's not directly involved with it, but like we see a couple of draftees being, marched off to, the train station by their families. We see what the factory makes, and so it sort of weaves its way through in a very subtle way, which obviously, for Miyazaki, who was born in 1941, like this is definitely, would have been things that colored his early years on the earth.
And all the stuff with the aunties, the grannies and the aunties who live at the estate, when you get packages of like, ooh, canned meat and canned fish. And like, ooh, you got cigarettes. Where'd you get cigarettes from? Like just the idea that the basic joys are scarce and that they are thrilled to see them definitely also speaks to the fact that this is a post-war scenario. Well, actually, it's going on during the war, the beginning of it, right? It's still during the war. But this is very, very stressful times. And if you want to work off your stress, what better way than with a quick workout on Carol Bike? You could sit on your Carol Bike and watch this movie and get your quick 8-minute workout in and feel great afterward. They walk you through it with fun graphics and fun music, and it's super easy and different levels and different kinds of workouts. We have a deal with them. If you get your Carol Bike, from now until January 15th, with our deal, our code's breakfast all day, take $250 off of your Carol Bike. It's a great deal. It's a quick way to get a workout in when things are very, very busy during the holidays, as I know they are for all of us. So link is down below. Yeah, I'm so glad that I saw this, and I'm glad that it is out there. And we talk about animation so much and the wide variety of it, and this is just so distinct still, as far as you look at it and you immediately know whose hand you're in, and even when things are scary, there's like a comfort in knowing that you are in the hands of a master. So I really dug it, and I can't wait to rewatch it with Nick. So what is your number then?
I will say a 9. I think this is a really powerful film, and Miyazaki's still got it, baby. We both saw the Japanese language version, so we have not seen the very impressive English voice cast that has been assembled for this. But in its OG dub, it's terrific.
Yeah, for sure. I did see it. Yeah, I did see it with the subtitles as well, and I'm glad I did. And yeah, I'm gonna say like an 8.7. There may be almost too much stuff going on here. As you say, like the plot may be like a little convoluted, but if you just like give yourself over to it and go like, I'm not going to make sense of this, and that's cool. I'm going to give myself over to the journey and the colors and all that. Then that's more than satisfying. So The Boy and the Heron is in theaters starting this weekend, correct?
Yes, I believe it's in limited release, and it's going to be expanding in the coming weeks. And like you said, it's probably going to be an award season contender. So if it's not opening near you now, it will probably get there soon.